Welcome back to Boatyard Life in Trinidad.
Last night I installed part of the watermaker back in its position. Beautiful, looks immaculate.
With splash day approaching, we're racing to finish the jobs that keep a liveaboard boat running.
It does potentially confirm to me that maybe there was sand in this puppy. I hate to say that.
But while we're working through the chaos of a haul out,
The most important thing is get the work done.
Yeah.
When it's time to work, we work.
Yeah.
we're also being reminded that life and the sea can change everything in a moment.
Then on Canada Day, believe it or not, Hurricane Beryl came and destroyed our boat. It picked it up and threw it 30 feet into the haul out slip and snapped off one of the hulls and sunk it.
Lunchtime. Interesting thing that's happened today, other than Rob and I working together, is the boys left Virginia on their boat delivery. I'm not sure how far offshore they got before they had to turn around and come back to port. The all-electric boat has a diesel generator, and the diesel generator is on the blink.
Unfortunately, we are not heading to Antigua. We've had a problem with the generators on the boat, and this boat is fully electric, so it can't really run without its generators because it has no source of power then.
Which is crazy really, isn't it? It's a bit like virtue signalling that you're a vegetarian and then eating a chicken curry. Because, you know, if everything's electric on your boat, but it doesn't work unless you've got your diesel engine. In other news, Finn has been in action again. He's in Spain now. He has just competed in another beach sprint and he won. So I think Finn's put his demons to bed, his mistake in the World Championships, because he and a British girl teamed up together to come second by the sliver of a second. They came second by 1/100th of a second. It was so close. We don't have much video of what went on there. It wasn't televised. But things are going well. We're working. The boys are working. Finn's working. And it's all going tickety-boo.
Okay, I'm going to flush out the starboard side sail drive, the one that may have got sand in it. If there's any residue there, try and flush it through the system. So I'm going to not quite fill it up, maybe 3/4 full, and then I'm going to turn the propeller, turn the gears around a little bit, and then I'll drain it all out. Yeah, a little bit coloured. It's not clear. It's interesting.
I'm delivering gifts.
Hello. Oh my word! That looks like a whole wheaty,
It's a whole
grainy.
wheaty sourdough.
Yeah. Oh, it's a sourdough.
I make my own sourdough and
Seriously?
I like to deliver to friends.
Oh my
or new
goodness.
friends.
That is going straight to the pool room. That's a real McCoy.
We've galloped apace a bit with the work on the hulls. We have had to pay some people to come and help us to get it done quickly enough. We're supposed to be back in the water in 4 days' time.
It's hard to believe, but we are actually at the stage where we have finished the sanding and going to rub it down with alcohol to remove all the remaining dust fragments that might be there, or will be there. And then we're going to put the primer paint on it. It's an epoxy primer, 2 pots mixed together. It's a very strong paint and it makes the foundation for which the anti-foul will then go on. Now once you put the primer on, you can't wait too long before you put the anti-foul on. If you touch and your finger sticks to it, that's too soon. But if your finger just comes away and it's still a little bit tacky, then you put the anti-foul on. Man, it's been I'm not even sure how many days it's been since we started the process. 6-7 days? I'm not sure. But man, it's been a mission.
Sweat is pouring off me. This was all under this little bit of bed here. We're having a survey done We don't get onto the beds very often, and it shows. Oh, we've got so much rubbish.
Yeah.
So it's a good chance, look at me, and it's very, very dusty under there. It's a really good chance to assess the crap that we keep. I mean, look at this. Ivan has got I think 5 decks for scootering,
which
he doesn't do anymore.
Yeah.
So
there's no parks.
Plus he's a little bit older.
Yeah.
He really should sell these or give them away or whatever, but honestly we do not need to harbour all of those. However, when I talk of harbouring, we're all guilty.
Actually, just over your shoulder, I'm really annoyed that piano thing.
Yeah, the keyboard.
It's so annoyed. Oh.
Keyboard lasted about 6 months and then different
and the
notes
voice
stopped working. Stopped working.
What do you do?
Very difficult to play a piano when half the notes aren't there. So whether it's the saltier, I don't know, but it's a shame because Ivan was really enjoying.
They were into it, yeah.
Yeah, he was really enjoying learning to play. Haul-outs force a reset, a chance to strip things back, clean, inspect, repair and put systems right.
It's going good, eh? Yeah, going good, yeah. We've had a lot of trouble with our wind anemometer. Anyway, we've got Gary and his teammate here. Gary's up the top at the moment and he's pulling through the new cable. You could argue, why am I not up there? Well, you know, it's one of those things, I admit it, it just gives me the screaming jeebies. Yep, so Gary's up there doing the job. I'm good with that. I'm very good with that.
The reason we sailed here in the first place was to deal with our watermaker motor. It had been running intermittently for months and the plan was to have it reconditioned and refit it.
Piece by piece.
But sometimes life throws in an unexpected kindness. When Leon from Ecotech returned to the yard with the motor, we were expecting a repaired unit. Instead, the company had decided to replace our motor entirely, brand new at no charge. A great gesture of support from a manufacturer standing behind their product.
When Rob contacted us, we checked our records and noticed the unit was over 15 years old. It was time to do some maintenance. After inspection, we found out we had to replace the motor. But the pump was still in good condition. We did a maintenance on it, made sure we changed some seals, some valves, and were able to send it back to Rob before his boat was back in the water.
Last night I installed part of the watermaker back in its position. Beautiful, looks immaculate. And now I've got to fit in this control panel and it's just, isn't this just a beautiful piece of engineering? It's like a Star Trek. Little bells and whistles and got another little button to put in there and then we'll be away. Bob's your Uncle Charlie's out. It's just a beautiful piece of engineering. I love it. I've got all the pipes hooked up. I think I've got them right. But the hardest part, and that took quite a while actually, but the hardest part was connecting up the sparks. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pipes, believe it, yeah. Quite a lot. Okay, I probably won't do any more today until we get in the water because then I'll fire it up. So all in all, I'm very happy to have it reconnected and ready to go. Thank you so much, Ecotech. Leon and your team have been amazing. I've loved our watermaker for the 10 years we've had it, and now I'm going to love it even more because it's been reconditioned and partly nude. It's great.
The delivery Declan and Ivan had hoped would end in Antigua was instead finishing early in Charleston.
2:20 in the afternoon, and we're about to be pulling into Charleston in the next hour or two, so it's going to be our last day. This is our last day of sailing aboard this beautiful big boat. It's bright outside. Sailing in monohull is, it's so nice, so smooth, especially one this big. It just glides, honestly. Just glides. So yeah, we're pulling into Charleston, and then Monday we might be going to Montana to go see our friend Jack and maybe go snowboarding.
Plans shift, routes change, and sometimes the unexpected opens doors you never planned to walk through. But not every twist is an easy one. One of the extraordinary things about sharing this sailing life online is the people we meet along the way, each with their own journeys and their own stories of resilience.
The really cool thing when we're sailing around the place, we do sometimes bump into people who follow the channel. And when Matt Cameron reached out here last week, he heard through the grapevine that we had arrived in Trinidad. We caught up for a quiet beer, and I've caught up a few times since then, and Matt very kindly has agreed to have a chat and tell us his story, which is quite extraordinary.
I was originally born in New Zealand. I was a skipper for a yacht charter company in Turkey, and a woman came over with her sister and chartered one of my boats, and I fell in love with her and chased her back to Canada. I had 35 incredible years with her. Been cruising the Caribbean since 2022, and last year my wife was diagnosed with a degenerative brain disease, a very rare one. Didn't have a name for it. And they gave her 6 months to 12 months to live, and she decided I can wait and die at home or I can go on the boat. So she asked me to take her back to the boat, and we had 7 months of an amazing time. Actually, it was reminiscing, laughing, crying, visiting great places, meeting amazing people. 8 days after we got back at the end of May, she passed away. It was pretty tough. I managed to get my youngest boy back from New Zealand the day before she passed, and our oldest boy was there with us, and she made me promise to keep sailing. It's basically my love. And then on Canada Day, believe it or not, Hurricane Beryl came and destroyed our boat. Turtle Bay Marina. It picked it up and threw it 30 feet into the hull out slip and snapped off one of the hulls and sunk it. Yeah, so I did have it insured, so I did get insurance money, even though the deductible goes up substantially, but I was fortunate and they were very good, and they paid out in 3.5 months.
Wow.
Which allowed me to buy this current boat, and it's called Next Chapter.
Next chapter. Nice.
That is my next chapter. And then 2 weeks before I left, I got a tattoo on my arm saying, "Enjoy the journey." And since the destination is the same for all of us, you know, it's the journey that counts. It's yeah, it's different doing it by yourself, but it's also very rewarding, and it's a lifestyle that my body likes. I'm diabetic, but when I go on the boat, my blood sugars are under control. It just shows you what stress and other things do to your body.
Yeah.
Put you in a fight or flight mechanism, and it just works against everything.
Okay, it's the day before we splash. We've still got a few jobs to do. One of the crucial ones is to replace the prop speed. Now this prop speed has been on for 2 years. It's pretty impressive. It's done a great job. Actually could probably carry on for another 6 to 12 months as well, as far as I'm concerned, but no, I don't intend to haul out again in the next 6 to 12 months, so now's the time to do it. My initial intention was just to rough up the sail drive for the special paint that you have to put on that. I ended up taking it right back to the beginning, back to the starting days of 10 years ago when we installed these sail drives and engines. Sail drive is back full of engine oil again, ATW90, GL5. You must have that for ST20 sail drives. ATW90 gear oil, yes, but you have to have specifically, I think it's API or GL5. There's a GL4. Do not put GL4 on your S20 sail drive. Now, listen to this. You hear that? That's the sail drive. I think that's the bearing you can hear in there. Yeah, let's go to the other one. You can hear a sound, but it's smooth. It's just a smooth. I'll come up closer and listen. So port side is a lot smoother in terms of the sound. Starboard has a bit of a notchy sound to it. That to me tells me that there's more wear on this bearing than the other. I think it's fine. I don't think there's a problem. It'll last years more, I think. I'll check on that, but I don't think we'll have a problem, but it does suggest to me, or does potentially confirm to me, that maybe there was sand in this puppy. I hate to say that. I just find that really difficult to say, because it means somehow sand got into our sail drive that we speculated about earlier in Lensois, or maybe slightly earlier. I don't think it would have been much earlier than then. Crazy, just crazy.
Working into the night. Rob's putting on the prop speed.
We've only just managed to get it now.
Yeah.
It has to go on tonight because we go in the water tomorrow.
We've never actually put it on the sail drive before, so that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
We had a bigger pot of it, so on the sail drive it goes. So the boat is lifted up. We're getting ready to go back in the water. Rob has 20 minutes. 20 minutes to clean the barnacles off the bottom of the keel and put some paint on, an anti-foul.
Go Rachel, go Rachel, go Rachel.
This isn't going to dry. All my protective clothing.
Yep, you're doing it good. You got the edge well.
You said I wouldn't make it, and for a while I couldn't shake it. And any other day I would break, but today I'll get up off the pavement. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Last I checked, I ain't a goner. So don't you close the curtains, 'cause nothing's ever certain. Ain't over till it's over. Feet don't fail me now.
As the saying goes, it's the little things that count. A job finished just in time, an unexpected act of kindness,
Woo, listen to that.
a system finally working the way it should. Next week we sail north to St Vincent to collect Declan and Ivan before heading to the impossibly blue waters of Tobago Keys. Join us then.
Late last night we came into a place called Scotland Bay, about 10 o'clock last night, anchored, and this morning woke up and there's this beautiful rainforest bay. It's absolutely stunning. It makes me want, oh, can we not stay here for a couple of days and just have a mooch around, check the place out?
Yeah,
But we gotta go.
got to go because the boys are flying in to St
Yep.
Vincent in 2 days' time. We've got 2 days to get there.
Yeah,
So you've got to skedaddle.
we gotta go.